Yeah, no. All of you keep your cameras on. Aman, Mustafa, you there? How are you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're
Alhamdulillah,
traveling,
sir. I'm just
Priyanka.
having fever.
Okay, if you're traveling, you can keep it off, but make sure to respond in the chat box whenever a question will be asked.
Sir.
Yeah. Aman, you were saying like you were suffering from fever.
Yes, sir.
Or take care of yourself. Okay, now drink plenty of fluids and take adequate amount of rest. So we have just learned few important things, right? It's the process by which living organisms produce new individuals, but of the same species. Okay, and it's necessary for survival and increase in the population of that particular species. What will happen if the organisms were to stop reproducing? Organism of a particular species, if they were to stop reproducing, what will happen?
Then they will eventually get extinct.
Right now, first of all, their population will start to decrease, and eventually there will come a time when the population will become so low that they will become extinct. Okay, we often use the term species here, right? We often use the word species, but what is the meaning of the word species? Huh? What does species mean? Mhm. It will basically
The many organisms of the same kind.
exactly organism of the same kind. Organisms here, like it would be plant, animals, or any other organism of the same kind that can breed together. Getting it now? Between which reproduction can take place, and there will be production of new organism. Getting it now? Right? So species,
Yes.
they are the group of organisms that are of the same kind that may interbreed. Right now, they are capable of producing the same kind, giving birth to organisms of the same kind. Right? So it refers to group of organisms that are of same kind. You may write down this definition, okay? Now, it refers to group of organisms that are of same kind and can produce offsprings and can produce offsprings. So they are capable of giving birth to new organisms of the same kind. Although the gender could be different, could be male or female, etc. Okay, that's the thing. Now, today we are going to learn about the different types of reproduction. So, there are mainly two types of reproduction. One is the sexual reproduction, another is the asexual reproduction, asexual reproduction. Okay. So, first, we will be learning about the sexual mode of reproduction. Okay, now the mode of reproduction which occurs in most of the animals, including the humans, where two partners are required, where two parents are required in order to give birth to a new individual. Okay. So let's start. But before that, we obviously need to know that like what are the different modes of reproduction. Did we did this question or not? Which of the following is not a type of reproduction? Answer this.
Respiration.
So what is binary fission?
Binary fission is basically it's a
Fission.
kind of a mode of reproduction. It's a asexual mode of reproduction, na? In which a microorganism will basically split into two halves. Okay, and
Sir,
both the halves would be identical to each other. It happens in like amoeba. Yeah, Mustafa, you're saying something?
Oh, yeah. So it's a respiration.
res-
Yeah,
respiration.
it is respiration, obviously, right? Because respiration is a life process here, no? So how can it be even a type of reproduction? Next question.
Evolution of species over time.
Evolution of species over time.
Exactly, evolution of a species over time. Good. Okay. By the way, I have this simple question. Okay, you guys tell me where did the life originated from? If we were to go by the theory, okay, na? So where did the life originated from?
From chimpanzees
No, I'm saying
monkeys.
from where. Where I'm not saying from which organism. I'm saying from where. Although this topic remains a subject of investigation, okay, now we cannot 100% be sure of if you were to talk about scientific terms, okay, now, and forget other things, okay. So thereby we come to the conclusion that it may have occurred from water. Getting it? So in that context, my question was, okay, now.
Okay.
Anyways, by the way, you guys should also know about this mind-boggling fact that water, like when Earth was in the process of formation, so water was brought to Earth via the asteroids. Remember this? Asteroids and the meteoroids.
Yes, sir.
Even iron was brought to Earth via some other celestial bodies. Like it might have been meteoroids or asteroids that brought metal like iron to Earth. Getting it now? Anyways, talking about different types of reproduction here. Okay, so different types of reproduction, like there are two types of reproduction. One is the asexual reproduction, and the second is sexual reproduction. The basic difference between them is that in asexual reproduction, only one parent organism is needed, while in sexual reproduction, two parents are needed. Okay, so in the asexual reproduction, we have examples of fission. Okay, now in fission, basically, the organism will be splitting. Okay, now splitting. Okay, commonly bacteria are known to do reproduction via the method of fission. Okay, now that is the thing. Also, this fission happens inside our body also. As a child grows now, as a child grows, so thereby the length of the bone, the muscles, everything is growing right now. The muscle mass is increasing. So if you were to compare the muscular cells in our body right now, so all the muscular cells are basically identical to each other now, particularly if you were to talk about the muscles of the heart. Like our heart is made up of cardiac muscles, right? Abu Bakr, getting it, everyone? So all the cells of the cardiac muscles are same right now. All of them are going to be same. All the cells of the bone are same. So there also a kind of reproduction has taken place. Getting it? Because reproduction is simply the what? Like it's multiplication, right? It's multiplication. So in that sense, also later on we'll be learning that how do the cells divide? How do the cells multiply? When a child is growing, how does the muscle mass increases, etc. But particularly, this fission is more associated, like it's particularly seen in the bacteria. Then we'll be learning about fragmentation, in which an organism will be splitting into multiple fractions, and each fraction will grow into new individuals, into new organisms. Then we will learn about budding, we have regeneration, etc., spore formation. Okay. We'll be learning about that. This is an interesting topic to learn about. Okay. Then right now we are going to start the topic of sexual reproduction. That happens in humans, cockroaches, birds, etc. So many animals are there. Okay. But first of all, like what are the characteristics of the sexual reproduction? What do we mean by sexual reproduction? So in simple words, it's a type of reproduction in which basically two parents are required. So that is simply called as sexual reproduction, in which two parents are required. But that's not all. In this biological process, there will be contribution of genetic material from both the parents. A male parent will contribute some genetic material, and a female parent will contribute some genetic material. Getting it? Genetic material here basically refers to materials like DNA, chromosomes. You all have heard about DNA now, right? So in this
Yes.
process, there will be intermixing of the DNA from the male and the female parent. Okay. So first thing is that you guys keep your cameras on. Do not turn it off during the class hour. All of you keep your cameras on. Yeah, all of you. So it is a biological process in which two parents two parents are involved, in which two parents are required. Furthermore, both the parents will be contributing genetic material, okay, na? And there will be a combination of these genetic materials, okay, and then there will be it will lead to growth of the offspring. Getting it? So it necessitates the involvement of two distinct individuals, particularly of opposite genders. Right now, typically that is a male and a female, obviously. So in this, two parents of opposite genders, that is a male and a female, is involved. Second thing I say that both the parents will contribute some genetic material. So both the parents contributes their genetic material. Both the parents will contribute some genetic material, and then there will be combination of the genetic materials of both the parents that will lead to growth of the offspring. Okay, na? Further, in this, there will be fusion of spatial sex cells called as gametes, from each parent that will result into formation of a new cell, and that new cell is called as zygote. That we call as zygote. Okay. Right now, there are so many things that you might not be able to understand. Okay, now bit by bit, we are going to understand everything. All right. Okay. Doha, quickly read the paragraph which I have written here.
It is a biological process in which two parents are involved. In this, two parents are opposite gender, that is, male and female is involved. Both the parents contribute the genetic material. In this, there will be fusion of special sex cells called gametes from each
Gametes.
parent that
We
will
read this as gametes.
gametes, sorry. From each parent that will result into formation of new cell that is zygote.
Zygote. Good. Now, even before the process of even before the individuals breed, they participate in reproduction, it is important that they have reached the age of puberty. And puberty is when the individuals are reproductively mature. Their reproductive organs have grown and they have started the production of spatial cells. They are the sex cells. Respectively, in the females, the production of ovum, that is the egg, has started, and in the male, the production of sex cells, that is the sperm, has started. Let me repeat this. We know that the individuals, they are not capable of reproduction right after the birth. So in order to participate in reproduction, they have to reach a certain age in their lifespan when they have become reproductively mature. So when have they become reproductively mature? Like in the case of girl child, it's typically like 11, 12, 13 years of age, right? Roughly, boys also reach the age of puberty by the age of like 13, 14, right? So by this age, what has happened? Their reproductive organs have completely developed, right? And they have started the production of sex cells called as egg or ovum in the female body, and in the male child, in the male adult, it's the sperm cells. Okay. For context, let me write here. In the female reproductive organ, later on, as we'll be learning about the male and female reproductive organs in detail, so we get to know that in the females, okay, in the females, this is a gland called as ovary. Okay, na? You all are familiar with the terms of gland or not? Ever heard about glands? Like thyroid gland, we have a thyroid gland, right? Adrenal gland, uh, or you have a salivary gland, right now. So just like there's a gland called as ovary in the female reproductive system, and when the girl child has reached the age of puberty, like 12, 13 years of age, so this gland starts the production of a cell, a sex cell that we are calling as ovum. Okay, now, and this is commonly also called as egg. What I've said, that ovary is a gland in the female reproductive system which starts to release ovum once in a month when the girl child has reached the age of puberty. Okay. Then, as for the male child, when they have reached the age of puberty, so then what happens in their body? There's a gland called as testis or testicles that starts the production of sperm cells. That starts the production of sperm cells. So these two cells are needed for reproduction to take place. So far, I suppose there shouldn't be any questions. If there is any question, feel free to ask. I noticed some of you are not here. Aman, Mustafa, and Priyanka. Okay, Priyanka is traveling, and what about Aman? Okay, see. So far, any questions? Anyone? Okay. Then these two cells will basically, there will be fusion of these cells. Okay, there will be fusion of these cells, and as these cells are going to fuse, a new cell is formed. A new single cell is formed. Right now, by the way, these are also single cell. They are made up of one cell only. Ovum is a single cell, and sperm is also single cell structure. And these two will fuse together, and it will lead to fertilization. Okay. And after fertilization, fertilization is basically the fusion of these two cells. So after fertilization, there will be formation of a new cell that we are referring to zygote. Okay, that is what we are referring to zygote. And then the zygote will further grow into the womb of the mother, right? It will grow into the womb of the mother. It will convert into embryo. Then it will convert into, later on it is going to convert into fetus, sorry, into fetus. Okay. And then finally there will be birth of the baby. So in short, I have tried to summarize the sexual reproduction, and do not worry, we are going to learn about everything in detail. Okay, now. So now the meaning of the paragraph is clear or not? These are the sex cells. Let me write it over here. These were the sex cells, and we also call them as gametes. We are also calling them as gametes. Any questions? Any confusion so far?
No, sir.
And what about others? Abu Bakr, Doha.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Name the two gamete cells.
Ovum and sperm.
Good. Sperm is produced in the male or female body?
Male body.
Male body, while ovum is in the female body. Good. So this was just a little introduction about the sexual reproduction. Hope it is clear so far. Okay. Then let me give you a little introduction about the asexual reproduction also. Okay, we're not going to learn about all the modes, all the types of asexual reproduction, but let us understand about one of it, like fission. Like for example, fission. This right here is amoeba. Right now, it is an amoeba. What kind of microorganism is amoeba?
Protozoa.
It's a protozoa. Very good. What happens when the amoeba has reached its full size, when it is an adult amoeba? So thereby, the process of reproduction will start in it. Okay. So there's just one amoeba. Slowly, what will happen? Its nucleus starts to divide. You see this? This is the nucleus. And here you can see it has started to divide. It has started to multiply. Also, you look at the size of the cell, it's kind of elongating. It's stretching. Right, Tuha? It's stretching. Okay.
Yes.
Also, you guys are familiar with cytoplasm, right? Have you guys heard about cytoplasm? The jelly-like fluid inside the body of the cell?
Yes. Yes.
Jelly-like fluid.
Yes.
Good. And that we call as cytoplasm. So as the body is stretching out, so thereby not only the nucleus is dividing, but the cytoplasm is also stretching and it's also splitting and basically dividing. So now here you're seeing that it's almost at the verge of like separation, right? So now finally it has split it into two cells. Interesting thing about this type of reproduction is that there are two cells forming from a parent cell, okay? And these two cells are identical to one another. And if you were to compare it with the cell from which it has formed, that is from this parent cell, it will be identical to that also. Getting it? You know about twins, right now? Twins, they look identical, they look same to each other, but they will have different voice, different characteristics, different personality, etc. But when we will when we will talk about these cells, they are almost identical to each other in almost every sense. Getting it? So this is an asexual. It's a asexual reproduction in which one single parent is splitting into two cells. Okay, now in this, is there any involvement of the sex cells, the gamete cells? Is there any involvement of that? Is the amoeba
Mm.
producing any sex cell like a sperm or
No,
ovum?
sir. No, sir.
No.
Obviously, no. Right now. So it's a simple process. If you were to compare it with the sexual reproduction, it is not taking a long period of time. Getting it now? In fact, this amoeba reproduces in a very short span of time. Okay, now it reproduces through binary fission. Particularly, this is called as binary fission. Okay, now? And by the way, the word binary means two. What does it mean? Two. Okay, now? So it divides into two identical daughter cells. Okay, that is the thing. And it will take only few hours, like 20 or 25 hours. It needs only 20 to 25 hours in order to do reproduction. Okay, but in the case of humans, uh, a period of roughly around uh, 36 weeks, or that is 9 months, is needed for the complete development of the baby. So it's a complicated and a lengthy process. And this involvement of two parents, two gamete cells are required. But in this case, only one single parent is needed. Right now, there is no involvement of the sex cells here, right? And also the organisms that are formed out of the asexual reproduction, they are identical to each other. Okay, now? Any questions so far? Tell me if there's any question.
Yes.
Good. So this is the production of a new organism. By the way, these definitions which I'm writing now, these are very important, and usually questions related to sexual reproduction, like define sexual reproduction or define asexual reproduction, such questions are asked in the exam. So make sure you prepare such questions. Okay. So the production of a new organism from a single parent. You all have your NCERT books with you, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Without the involvement, of sex cells. What is another name of sex cells? Yes. Another name of sex cells? Gametes, no?
Yes.
Right? Is called asexual reproduction. Did anyone of you participated in Olympiads this year in this session? Hmm? Anyone?
No, sir. I did last year.
Oh, okay. So some of the key characteristics about this is that only single parent required. Only single parent is needed here. And second thing, no involvement of sex cells. Okay, no involvement of the sex cells here. So these are the these are the characteristics of it. Then we have many examples of organisms that that reproduces in such a manner. Like for example, binary fission takes place in amoeba. Examples are like amoeba, which does reproduction via binary fission. Second, we have examples like hydra that does reproduction via budding. Okay, via budding. Then we have many other examples also. Like there's a algae called as Spirogyra that will do reproduction via fragmentation. You have example of planaria that will do reproduction via regeneration, etc. Now let us sum up the differences between the two. Also, this question is also asked in the exam to list the differences between sexual and asexual reproduction. Okay, you guys give it a read. I need to just fill this cup of water. 1 minute. Yeah. So the first difference is obviously that asexual reproduction is uniparental in nature. Uni here refers to one. Okay. So only one parent is involved, while sexual reproduction is biparental, meaning two parents cells are required here. Okay. Now, then there's a new term over here that somatic cells are involved. Somatic cells are basically non-sex cells. What are somatic cells? Somatic cells. They are the non-sex cells, meaning that every cell that is every cell other than the gametes, other than the ovum and sperm, they are called as somatic cells. So basically, somatic cells are involved. Like in this case, now, like take the example of amoeba, right? Is there any involvement of the gametes here? Is there
No.
any sex cell in its body? No. So basically, non-sex cell is participating in this now. Just like this, when you will later on study about some other organisms, like for example, hold on. Like when you will learn about this planaria, okay, no, this planaria, okay. It's not a microscopic organism, by the way, okay, now. So this planaria, in this, there will also be no involvement of the gametes or the sex cells. So basically, the non-sex cells, that is its body cells, it does not have the sperm or the ovum in its body. It does not produces those cells. So basically, non-sex cells will be participating in this. We'll be learning about that, by the way, when we get there. Hmm. So somatic cells are involved in the case of asexual reproduction. While in the case of sexual reproduction, the germ cells again are basically referred to the sex cells. Okay, now whether we say germ cells or the sex cells or the gametes, all of them are the same thing. Okay. Then it involves the production of asexual spores. Like this one is particularly talking about asexual reproduction in fungi. Okay, na? In fungi. When we learned about the chapter crop production and management, there we have seen that when we looked at the structure of the fungi, so it has a bulb-like structure on top of it, on top of this hyphae that we were calling as a sporangium. And when this fungi is fully mature, when it has reached its full size, so this sporangium bursts open and it releases thousands and thousands of tiny dust-like things in the air, and that we is called as spores. And wherever this spore lands, so a new fungi grows wherever it will land. So that helps in reproduction now. But is that doing a sexual reproduction? Obviously, no. So in some cases, we'll be learning about this one also. Well, in the case of sexual reproduction, there's involvement and there's formation and fusion of the gamete cells. First of all, there will be formation of the sex cells in the body of the male and the female child. After then only there will be fusion of the gametes now. First, they need to reach the age of puberty, and then there will be production of the sex cells in their body. After that only there will be fusion. Then offsprings are genetically similar to parents. What are offsprings? What do we mean by this term?
Like the children.
It's the young children. Very good. Turn your cameras. Keep your cameras on. So they are genetically similar to their parents. Genetically similar to the parents means that they will be having the same DNA. They will have same nucleus, same chromosome as compared to their parents. Okay, na? Further, in sexual reproduction, they are genetically dissimilar to parents. One more thing we have learned, asexual reproduction is the rate of reproduction is very fast, but in sexual reproduction, it's slower. Because my internet is really bad and your voice is okay, Mustafa, I understand. No issue then. Duha, are you also facing some network issue? Hmm? Answer this question, guys. Which of the following is true about asexual reproduction?
The offspring are genetically
Your voice is
offspring
not
are
coming properly.
genetically
Uh-huh. You mean option number B?
Sir,
offspring are genetically identical to parent.
Okay. What about you guys?
yes,
Yes.
sir, B.
Option number B. Very good. By the way, I wanted to say one important thing. See, this chapter which we are doing now, sometimes students find this chapter difficult to do. Okay, now sometimes they might find it difficult, but in reality, it is not that difficult. Okay, basically, in every chapter, you get familiar with some new terms, with some new concepts, right? Now, so you will try to memorize those terms. Like today, we have learned about some new terms. What terms do we learn about today? Tell me. So far, what are the new terms you guys have learned today? Tell me.
Sir,
Binary
sperm,
fission.
ovum, gamete.
Binary
Binary
fission,
fission.
right? So you learned about binary fission. Okay. Then you learned about gametes, sperm, ovum, right now? That is the thing. So everything that we're learning, you will make sure that after the class, you at least read all of it. Okay, now? You make sure that you revise all of this. Okay. So for this question, that is going to be option number B. And also make sure you will remain consistent. Do not skip any classes. Some of the students who are leaving the classes in the middle, I know that they will find it a bit difficult to grasp the concepts. So it is important not to miss any classes. Okay, now. So we have learned about sexual reproduction. We learned about a little bit about our sexual reproduction also. We learned how they are different from one another. Now let's learn about sexual reproduction in humans. Okay. Let's start the discussion here. Sexual the reproduction in humans. All right. If you were to talk about the sexual reproduction in humans, we have divided this into three different stages for the sake of convenience in understanding. We have divided this into three different stages. Okay, now first stage is the pre-fertilization stage. It's pre-fertilization event. What does pre mean? What does pre mean?
Before.
Before, very good. Then we have fertilization, and then after fertilization is the post-fertilization event. Post means
After.
after.
Like
Very good.
after.
Good. So first of all, we are going to learn before this fusion of the sperm and the and the ovum, what event happens. So it's obviously before the fusion, before the fertilization, there has to be formation of the sperm and the ovum cells. Getting it, guys, everyone? So reproduction in humans takes place in three different stages. Okay, takes place in three different stages. First, right over here is the post pre-fertilization event. In this stage, basically, the production of gametes takes place in the adults, that, or rather we should say simply individuals, take place in the individuals. Again, in the female, it's the ovum, while in the male, it's the sperm cells. Okay. By the way, this structure that you're seeing in the middle now, in the middle, that circular structure, this structure basically is nucleus. Nucleus of the egg cell or the ovum, and this is the nucleus of the sperm. That's simply egg or ovum. In fertilization, there'll be fusion of the ovum and the sperm simply. So in this fusion of sperm and the ovum takes place. And where does it take place? There has to be some site, some place where it takes place. So this fusion takes place inside in the female reproductive organ, and where exactly? In the fallopian tube. So in this fusion of sperm and ovum, in this fusion of sperm and ovum takes place in the fallopian tube. Tube in female. Okay. And then it results into zygote. Okay, now it results in zygote formation. Now, once this zygote has formed, it needs nourishment now. Getting it, everyone? It needs nourishment that it will be getting from the mother, right? So basically, in post-fertilization event, there will be the development of the zygote. The cells inside the zygote are going to multiply. Okay, now it will multiply. It will convert into embryo, then fetus, and then finally, it will convert into the baby, in the fully developed baby. So in this, the development of the zygote takes place as it passes through different stages of its development, as it passes through different stages. Like what will happen here? The zygote will convert into embryo, and the embryo now converts into fetus. Okay, just to add the context here, take a look at this. See, this is how a 9-week-old baby looks, and a 12-week-old baby, 16-week-old baby, right now. So initially there will be zygote. Zygote will convert into embryo. Zygote will convert into embryo. Okay, like as you can see over here, although we'll be learning about it later. So initially there will be zygote, the new cell that has formed after fertilization. It will convert into embryo, right? Where the parts of the body are not going to be much identifiable, but once it has entered the stage called as fetus, then the parts of the body will be easily identifiable. Okay. Also, just take a look at this animation. From here, it's starting, like from here. Getting it. By the way, this tube-like structure now, that is connecting the baby to the mother. Anyone knows what do we call that? It's still attached after the delivery of the baby, and it needs to be cut down. That's called as umbilical cord. Okay, now it basically delivers every necessary thing to the child and takes away the waste material produced in the body of the child. Okay. After this, we'll be learning about the male and the female reproductive organs. Okay, now the male and the female reproductive organs. Okay, what are the functions of the different parts of it? But tell me if there's any question so far. You guys tell me what happens in post-fertilization event. In the post-fertilization event, what happens? In the pre-fertilization event, what happens? Duha, are you there in class? Mustafa? Abu Bakr?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, sir, my mom called me.
Okay. Try to stay here in the class only. So answer the question, what happens in fertilization? What happens in post-fertilization? Mustafa, you're trying to say something, like your voice is not coming if you're trying to say something. We just learned, no? We learned about sexual reproduction, their characteristics. Then we learned that sexual reproduction in humans is divided into 3 different stages now. One is the pre-fertilization event, in which there will be production of the gametes in the male and the female individuals. And when will be the production? When will the production of ovum and sperm take place? Will it take place at puberty or before puberty? Will it take place at puberty or before puberty? Huh? Doha? Abu Bakr?
The at puberty.
At
Puberty.
puberty. Good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then in fertilization, what will happen? Yes.
The ovum gets fertilized.
Sir, there will be fission in the.
You're trying to say there will be fusion of the sperm and the ovum. They will fuse together. Okay.
Mm.
What exactly will happen? The
Yes, sir.
nucleus material, the genetic material will be fusing together. Look at this structure over here. By the way, this is nucleus, and this thread-like structure, that is parallel structure you're seeing now, we call this as chromosome. Abu Bakr, what do we call that? This is structure inside this chromosomes. Very good. Chromosomes. And
Sir,
here is, yeah.
sir, out of one zygote, then there are 4 embryo?
No, it's not like there are four embryos. No. It's basically representing that embryo is a multicellular structure. Zygote is just made up of one cell. Well, embryo, it's going to be a lump of cells. Right now, it will be a ball-like structure and it will have so many cells in it. Getting it? This is just for a visual representation, but it does not have exactly four cells in it. Getting it? So what I'm trying to say here, you see how the nucleus is merging together here, and now you look at the number of the chromosome here. It's doubled now, right? It has doubled or not? Tell me. Like look at
Yes.
the chromosomes here. Although it's not like only two chromosomes, it's more than that. Later on, I'm going to tell you like it has each of the cells. Like ovum has 23 chromosomes, and sperm also has 23 chromosomes. Both of them will come together to make it 46. Forget about chromosome right now. We'll be learning about that later on in detail. So once the zygote has formed, right now, so zygote has to not transform into a baby. It will not happen in one day. It will obviously take some time, like 38 to 40 weeks, right? Sometimes less, sometimes more, right? But usually around 40 weeks. So it has to go through some stages of development. Like it will convert into embryo, then it will convert into fetus. Initially, when you guys looked at that animation now, so there you saw that initially the structure of the growing baby was not much clear, right now. But as the cell multiplies in it, so now it becomes more and more clearer. It becomes more and more clearer. Hearing it, it becomes more and more clear. So it will go through different stages of development, and by the end of the 38, 39 weeks, it has fully developed. Where hair have uh, 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 hair have grown on the head, right now on the skin as well. Some hair, getting it. Feet, nails, everything has developed. Even the eyelids, everything has developed fully. Okay. Also here you can see this structure. uh, it's not identifiable right now. None of the parts of the body are identifiable right now. So it's in the embryonic stage. It's an embryo. Then it will gradually develop, it will grow, and then it will start to look like this. See, look like this. Where now the parts of the body have started to become visible. Okay, na? Have started to become visible. That's the thing. Recently, I came across a very profound thing. Okay, na? That on the 40th day, na, till the 40th day of the development of the child, the face is not identifiable. Till the 40th day of the child, 40th day of the development of the child, the face is not identifiable. But right after the 40th day, the face becomes identifiable. Okay, na? The face becomes identifiable. Anyways, let me just give you a little introduction about the male reproductive system. In some other class we'll be learning about, in the next class we'll be learning about in detail in about the different parts and the functions of the male reproductive organ, and as well as and about the female also. Okay. Now the male reproductive system, it consists of a pair of testes. This testis over here. Okay, it contains a pair of testes. Look at this diagram. Okay, then it contains a tube-like structure that we are calling as vas deferens, and that is also called as sperm duct. Okay, then it contains a pair of vas deferens or sperm duct. Further, it contains seminal vesicle and prostate gland, and then there is this urinary tract that is also called as, that is basically urethra. So it's containing a pair of testes, a pair of sperm ducts, and as well as the muscular cylindrical structure that is the penis. Okay. Further, we are seeing that this testis is located outside the body in a muscular pouch-like structure that is called as scrotum. So testis is basically hanging out of the body. So they are located outside the male body. Okay. Further, the sperms are produced in this testis. So the function of the testis or the testicle is the production of the sperm cells. Now the question is that why it's hair in this scrotum, why it's kind of outside the body? So the reason is that it needs 2 to 3 degrees Celsius less temperature for production of the sperm. The production of a sperm, the production of the sperm cells needs a lower temperature. That's why it's there in the scrotum. Getting it? And the muscles of the scrotum helps in regulating the temperature. The testes are located outside the body in the scrotum here, and the cooler environment is important for the production of the sperms and for its viability. So sperm production needs 2 to 3 degrees Celsius less temperature in comparison to the core temperature of the body, right? So this scrotum is kind of keeping the testis cooler than the rest of the body, right? Now, because if there's elevation in the temperature, now it can impact the sperm production, okay, now? And sometimes it can even lead to infertility issues in the male. So hence, that is the thing. Getting it now, why the sperms are located inside this scrotum, the sac like, the bag like muscular structure in which the testicles are found? Because it needs 2 to 3 degrees Celsius less temperature is needed for the production of the sperm cells. Okay. Later on, in the next class, we'll be learning about the functions of the vast difference about the prostate gland, seminal vesicle, and all that. Okay. Till here, if there's any question, let me know. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to give you guys some assignment. Whatever things we have learned so far in the chapter, we have learned about reproduction and its importance. We've learned about the types of reproduction. We learned about their differences. We learned about sexual reproduction in detail so far. And right now we have started the discussion. So I'll be asking you definition of reproduction. Everyone listen carefully. I'll be asking in the next class about definition of reproduction, types of reproduction and their definition also, and the differences between sexual and asexual reproduction. Each one of you prepare the answer. I'll be asking about this in the next class. Okay. By the way, I think you should have the screenshots. Can you guys just wait for 1 more minute and take the screenshots? Or I will share it in the chat box. You can download it. Yeah.
Sir, can you send the screenshot? Sir, can you send the screenshots on my WhatsApp?
Okay, I will share it there. Hold on.
Sir, because I cannot download from the chat.
Okay. By the way, you guys tell me if all of you are able to download it or not. Because if not, in that case, I will have to share it to the counselor. Doha and Mustafa, see if you guys can download it right now.
Yes, sir.
It's being sent actually, like it's still going. And guys, try to read something at home. Okay, na? Try to read something at home from whatever is being taught here in the class. You guys barely ask any questions. And if there aren't any questions from your side, now the class becomes less interesting. Yeah, see, you guys are able to download it or not?
Yes, sir.
You are? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Save it, I'm sharing so that you can memorize the definitions at home. And you guys can prepare like make a separate folder for all the screenshots and segregate them by the chapter names also.